everyone, welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm Sarah.
And I'm James.
And today we're going to be talking about Abbott Elementary. So James, it's been a little while since we've recorded. What you been up to?
Oh, so many things.
So many things?
Well, the reason we couldn't record is because you were on a trip.
Yes, I ruined everything. Sorry.
Do you have any big updates from that trip? Or no?
I mean, it was a work trip. I wasn't prepared for the party version of my coworkers, but I guess I'm prepared for next time.
Okay. Did you sing karaoke? That was the big
Oh,
talk
no, I
beforehand.
did not.
Okay.
There were 2 nights where karaoke happened. The first time I went and nobody pressured me and I enjoyed other people performing. And the second time was the after party, which was after like already 8 hours of a party. And I was like, I am tired. I'm going back to the hotel. So I did not go to second
you didn't
karaoke.
even go to it. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, so I got out of it.
Dodged the karaoke success.
But it sounds like this is going to be a thing I'm going to have to try and dodge on every single work trip, and they do these twice a year. So it's
twice
my
a year.
ongoing problem.
Nice. Well, my big event that you missed out on was I went to WWE Extreme Rules in Philadelphia.
Oh, how was that?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah?
And we want to tell the listeners about potential plans of covering a WWE event.
Yes. As you went to a K-pop concert with me, never having gone to one before, I intend to go to some sort of wrestling event with you, having never gone to one before. And then we'll record about it.
Yeah. Hold on. Jamie came in here.
Hi, Jamie.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute.
He
Hi,
heard
Jamie.
Okay, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so I don't know what kind of event to choose, because like the one that I went to was a pay-per-view, so it was just like match after match after match, whereas like if we go to like a weekly episode, then it will have like more silly like talk segments in between the matches. I don't know what's better though, because sometimes the talk segments are hilarious and sometimes they're just like even dumber than watching matches. So yeah, I don't know. I also don't know the next time that it will be in Philly, because WrestleMania 2024 is actually going to be in Philadelphia, and I looked at the schedule. I didn't see anything prior to that yet.
Oh, well,
but yeah, the one I went to was good though. We saw the first ever singles women's ladder match, I believe, for a title. I don't know how many qualifiers need to be in there for it to be the first ever, but that was our favorite match. I went with my wife. And then, but we actually got like seats that were closer than we normally get. So we were on the ground floor, but we were like one seat into the stadium seating.
Okay.
But it was I actually wouldn't recommend it, because it was close enough that like even if you stood up, because there's like a stand-up culture in America to like stand up at events, like
yeah,
like once everybody on the floor stood up, we still couldn't see like the wrestlers like entrances, which is something that I like to see.
So you need more of a bird's eye view.
Yeah, so I would recommend like we had seats before that may have been like, you know, like 10 rows up. I think that was like the sweet spot that we should go for it from now on.
Okay.
But because we were so close, one of the matches went into the audience, and we were like, so there was like an aisle between the end of the floor seating and then the barrier to the start of the stadium seating. So the match, the 2 guys went like right in front of us. Like we could have, we could have touched them if we wanted to, but I wimped out and I didn't touch them. So that was cool. And then at the end, speaking of spooky season, Sarah.
Oh yeah.
There's this wrestler that's been gone for a while who does some like, I would say he does like creepy stuff, but people are like really into him. And he didn't have a match or like come in the middle of a match, but the end of the pay-per-view was just like him showing up just to like, and they did this whole theatrical like lights going out, and then all his like different creepy puppet characters were like full-sized humans now. And it was the energy in the crowd was insane for this guy. It was awesome. Right. So that was fun. So yeah, I had to figure out when we're gonna do it. This would have been it if you had been available. We probably would have just gone to this.
Yeah. It was just right before I was leaving, and I had already had another thing planned. And
Yeah. So I'll have to think about okay, what's the best.
yeah.
I don't know, but we'll see. I think that'll be fun when we get to it.
It'll be fun. I'm a little nervous about it, but I did actually find a wrestling fan at my work thing and asked for advice on how to like blend in the crowd when I finally get to one of these. The way he described it, it just sounded a lot like a K-pop concert. He's like, everybody's on their feet and they do chants, and I'm like, yeah, that's K-pop.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't.
I can
There's
handle
no
this.
need to blend in. I mean, there's a good spread of men and women there, so you won't have an issue with that. Like I did. That was the only reason that I couldn't blend in.
Okay.
But yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Were you able to watch anything
Well,
while you were gone?
I realized how much TV I have now been starting to watch like week to week, like as it comes out, because I am like behind on a whole bunch of things. But let's see, there's two things that I would like to talk about. One is The Midnight Club came out, and so I've been slowly making my way through that. This is a spooky show for spooky season, so I can only watch it during the daytime and like one episode at a time. So that's taking a while. But other than that, I just went through all of Dickinson because, oh my gosh, that show is so good.
Yes, nice. What'd you think?
Ooh,
It just kind of ends, right?
it does just kind of end.
There's no like great overarching final thing that needs to be told about Emily Dickinson. I feel like
Yeah.
they just did kind of like an artsy ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, by the end, didn't like Sue.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I was wondering.
Yeah.
That was a character I was wondering about. Yeah.
Well, basically, it's like by second season, I'm like done with Sue. She's no
Yeah,
good anymore.
I don't really get why Emily even likes her. Other than that, they're just like, I guess they had their whole childhood together, so that we didn't get to see. But yeah, that part of the show kind of like annoyed me a little bit.
Let's see. Austin had a moment where I really didn't like him, but other than that, was like really good. And Lavinia, I think, yeah, she's my favorite
Lavinia.
character. She comes around, and I like it. Like season 2, she's in her just like spooky witch phase, and she's like, fuck it, let's talk to some ghosts and I have a bunch of crystals and sure.
Yeah,
And it's a fun time.
yeah, okay, awesome. I'm glad that worked out. That's the fastest you've watched any show I recommended, probably.
Well, yeah, probably. It was my I downloaded a bunch for the plane and then didn't watch any on the plane, but like when I was winding down in the hotel at the end of the day, I was like, I will watch this show, and I got through a lot of it.
Oh, so have you watched the She-Hulk finale?
Oh my gosh, yes, I forgot.
Okay.
There's so much stuff going
What
on.
the hell did you think about the She-Hulk finale?
That was so weird, and I loved it.
Okay, interesting.
I love the weird meta nonsense that happened, and the like calling out of Marvel tropes. It was so good.
I feel like I didn't love it or hate it. It was just like, okay, this is a thing that they did. I hope they never do it again. Like you can't do this again, right? It's like only one show gets to do this, and then
and
it was just okay.
This was the show for it.
I suppose. I don't really know like what like the end of the show would have been if it wasn't that. But whatever. She-Hulk's in the universe now. I'm happy.
But you didn't get to figure out exactly what was up with Bruce. I mean, you got a little bit at that.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger thing it's gonna be. Like I said, I think I predicted like he might be trying to bring Iron Man back to life or something. Like I don't know what the hell he's doing. And then I didn't watch Andor today, but I was caught up until today.
Oh yeah, same. I forgot it was Andor Day.
Yeah. So episodes 4 through 6 really liked. But I haven't said yet. Forgot to say this in the last podcast. I think most of the time, like whoever's listening to our podcast probably could just go watch the show we're talking about, and then they could get a sense of the show faster than listening to the podcast.
Fair, yeah.
So you're listening to the podcast if you like us talking. But I would say for Andor specifically, like I would listen to our podcast and then go start watching episode 4 of the show. Like that's how little I thought of the first 3 episodes of Andor.
Nonsense. Andor's great.
I think you could get by with just listening to our podcast though. Like you'll get the gist of the characters, and then I don't know. We'll see what they do. It seems like the show is kind of breaking itself up into like 4 3-part episodes kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what they're going to do after episode 6, but hopefully but episode 4 through 6 like didn't tie into episode 1, 2, and 3. So there's just random characters that are out there from 1, 2, and 3 that are just, I'm still confused why they were in the show at all, but I guess they'll come back around.
I think they'll come back around. Yeah.
yeah, so curious what's going to happen next in that show. But okay, I think that's all I have. I also am getting tied up because the Phillies are in the playoffs now, so that is taking up a lot of my time that would have been spent watching some shows.
Fair enough.
I'm actually like a week behind on Survivor, and I didn't watch it tonight.
Oh my gosh!
Because the Phillies were on. The Phillies were on the last 2 Wednesdays, so
I didn't know that the Phillies superseded Survivor.
I mean,
shocking news.
You could actually watch Survivor the next day, but then other stuff came up, so
okay,
I'll be caught up in no time. The hardest part is staying off of like social media and getting spoiled.
Yeah,
I think I know like some people that maybe didn't get voted out, but I don't know who got voted out.
Interesting. I have also not watched those 2 episodes yet, so I can't ruin it for you either.
Okay, good. But yeah, that's all I got. Anything else?
Yeah, probably, but I've forgotten it. So let's
just not important.
Get into talking about this show.
All right, Abbott Elementary.
You
want my breakdown?
I want your little wiki breakdown.
Okay, this show started in 2021, and it's still going.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 episodes. There are 2 seasons. 2 seasons. First season was 13.
Second season is ongoing.
Yeah, second season's ongoing. I believe episode 5 of season 2 aired tonight at 9 o'clock. It airs Wednesdays at 9 on ABC. For anybody who likes to watch it live.
Nonsense.
13 episodes of season 1. I'm not sure if season 2 is also 13 episodes, or it might actually be more.
Okay.
They might have got more episodes based on season 1, because I believe the show had a lot of was nominated and won many awards, or it was in the including Emmys, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was nominated for 6 Emmys and it won 3 of them. I think I saw earlier.
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty good. This show is I didn't realize this. It's a mockumentary style comedy sitcom. So it's like
The Office or Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Office, Parks and Rec. And then I kind of throw Modern Family into this group of shows. Have you ever watched that? Yeah.
Yes.
But what's different about Modern Family is that I feel like The Office didn't feel like it at first, but then eventually they like broke the 5th wall or 4th wall or whatever, and then like the show was like, oh, this has been a documentary the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't did Parks and Rec do that?
No, they basically ignored it.
Okay. Modern Family's the same way, I think. They just like they have like the confessionals, but it's not supposed to be like, it's just like a narrative tool, not like an actual documentary. Whereas this show from the start is just, it's actually a documentary that's being filmed in this school in Philadelphia. Yeah. So it's the mockumentary style, and they're actually doing a documentary in the show. But here's the wiki. A documentary crew is recording the lives of teachers working in underfunded, mismanaged schools. One of the places they've decided to document is Philadelphia's Willard R. Abbott Elementary School. It follows a group of teachers brought together in one of the worst public schools in the country simply because they love teaching. Combination of the wiki and IMDb breakdown.
Okay.
I like this idea.
What about this idea do you like?
Teachers that love teaching in schools that are it's gonna be tough. You know?
Yeah.
That seems like a show gonna have some stuff in it, you know. I am curious. I was curious, like, okay, how's this gonna be funny? You know, I thought it was like, I was like, okay, this could be really a real show, you know.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
There is one other note I would like to add, which is like, you know, they're nominated for a bunch of Emmys, and usually like shows, they get a budget to like put a bunch of ads out that are like, vote for us for the Emmys or whatever. Like, that's a thing that shows do.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that.
And the people that make this show instead like donated all of that money to underfunded schools, and I just thought that was really cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They like, actually give a shit.
That makes a lot more sense.
And they still won some Emmys, so you know.
Yeah.
Good job, show.
Well, maybe they got press coverage from doing the donation, you know.
Well, okay, sure, maybe, but
no, but that's smart. But yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Any setup that you wanted for the show? This is your show, Sarah.
That's right. It is my show. I kind of watched the first episode a while back on a whim, and then I don't know, it struck me. I enjoyed it. I am finding more and more that they're like things that are set in Philly, just like I connect with, even though like I don't live in Philly proper. Okay. There's still just a bit of me that's like, oh, familiar stuff.
Yeah, and that show has this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Have you ever checked out the Goldbergs?
I have. Yes. Okay. Also similar Philly vibe.
That's like That takes place in Jenkintown, I believe, which is like one town over from where I grew up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like really close.
Nice.
I don't know how many references. The one kid wears like a Flyer shirt all the time in that show, but other than that, I don't know how many references there are. But this show had a ton of Philadelphia references, like in the
Oh, yeah, especially in the first episode, yeah.
in the first episode, yeah. I saw this show. I saw ads for this show, I think, because season 2 was coming out, and it did look like something I might like, but I had no idea it was mockumentary format. That did not come through in the ads for me.
Yeah. Is that format something that appeals to you, or just...
I feel like every show I've watched with that, I've liked. It was a really popular format. Like The Office made it popular for a while, and I don't know how many other shows copied it, but most of the shows that copied it, I feel like it was also a good style. It's just like a way to like see the internal thoughts of the characters.
Yeah.
And the confessionals can be like way more over the top than the normal situation that they're in. Yeah,
it's a fun format. I like it.
I was surprised that there was a show that was still doing it though, because I felt like it was kind of like out of style at this point.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
There's probably so many of these that I just like for whatever reason can't remember right now.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do
You want to
it.
get us started on episode 1?
Okay, sure. Episode 1 opens on who we find out is Janine Teagues, who's a teacher.
Second
moving
grade
around
teacher.
her class. Second grade teacher. Yeah, she's moving around her class, checking their work. They are practicing writing sentences about their favorite movies and their characters in those movies. And one kid's like, their favorite movie is Toy Story, and their favorite character is Woody. And then another kid is like, their favorite movie is American Gangster, and their favorite character is Frank Lucas. I've never seen this movie, but I looked it up.
Neither have I.
And it seems to be about a guy that smuggled a lot of drugs. So
yeah. There's a few jokes like this throughout where like the kids know references to movies that they definitely should not have seen. Yeah. I think The Shining comes up at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Now, when I was taking notes for the show,
Uh-huh.
I struggled at first with deciding like, okay, how do I write the names of these characters?
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, so this is Janine Teagues, but she's a teacher, so do I call her Miss Teagues or do I call her Janine? How do we want to do this?
I think I went back and forth on different characters and eventually settled into using their first names.
Okay. I think I switched to first names eventually, except there's one teacher that we're going to get to that I feel like I must call her by her last name.
Yeah.
She demands it. She demands
yes,
it.
100%.
Okay. I think we're on the same page then here.
Okay.
All right. So we'll call this is Janine.
Yes.
Because the show is through the eyes of the teachers, right? So they think they refer to each other by first names, except for maybe when students are around, they don't.
Yeah.
So you do kind of need to know both their first and last name to watch the show. But yeah, we also find out that she has been working at Abbott Elementary for 1 year. And I think she's only going to be one of 2 teachers that survived last year. Like, I don't know how many new teachers they get per year, but the idea is that, like...
I think she said they had 20 new teachers came in.
Oh, wow.
And at the beginning of this episode, there are 3 left.
Oh, there's 3. Oh, okay. Yeah, got you. Okay. Yeah. The next thing that happens in this scene is that I think like 2 kids are fighting or something happened. And she's
one kid hits another one, and you know how kids are.
But she's like trying to make the one kid apologize. And then she starts like counting, like she's going to get to 3 and then the kid's going to do it. And then she just starts counting past 3.
Because he just refuses to listen.
Yeah. So this is, I don't know where she came up with this number counting strategy, but she's very committed to it.
I think she doesn't know what else to do. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It's a tough crowd she's working with, and she does not seem to have the authority yet, like the confidence, I guess, to really like nail that only having to count to 3 situation.
Like we can tell from the beginning that this like counting thing does not work for her at all, but she still like recommends it to some of the other teachers later.
Yes.
And then I think she said at some point to somebody like, by the time you get to 40, they're bound to quiet down or something.
Yeah, like somewhere between 1 and 40, it works.
Yeah. So I think we only see her count to 10 here in the beginning, but she admits that she counts up to 40 sometimes. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So this really sets the pace for like what to expect from both her and her students. They know a little too much about the world, and she doesn't exactly have control over the situation.
And then we get a couple of like, I guess they're like character moments of just like how the school is underfunded.
Mm-hmm.
She has a book with all the presidents in it, but it's like an old book, so it doesn't have the last 3 presidents in them. So she had
So
to
she
like
just taped them in?
tape the pictures of the last 3 presidents into the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's a Philadelphia reference right away. It's like she's talking about how they have no money for the school, but the Eagles Stadium, like down the street, is having like a multi-million-dollar renovation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is good point.
Mm-hmm.
Good valid point.
Yep.
That is silly prioritization.
And they even showed some of it. Actually, I did not look up where this was filmed, if they actually film any part of it in Philly or not. But
Oh, I didn't look that up either. They did have a shot of the actual Eagle Stadium, but yeah, that could just be stock.
yeah, then she starts talking about, I mean, she's really positive, even though like they have no money, the kids don't listen. But she starts talking about the other teachers who work there and that they're all amazing and that she looks up to them for the most part. At least the older ones. And then we get a shot of one of the 3 remaining new teachers, and her classroom is just utter chaos. They're screaming and throwing things, and she's begging them to sit down, and it is not working.
Oh, okay. I didn't even write down that part. Is this Miss Schwartz? This is the
I
woman
didn't even
that's
write
gonna
her
get in
name
trouble,
down.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's Miss Schwartz. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get back to Miss Schwartz. Next thing I have is that we're back in Janine's classroom, and all the kids are dancing to Baby Shark.
Oh, you did miss one important thing before the opening credits, which is she's like talking about how she's confident, and then she's like in the hallway and she turns and looks in her room and there's just a kid peeing on her rug.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which is an important event for this episode.
That's true, yeah. Everybody's rug at some point in all the classrooms is like really crappy and they have to get rid of them all, basically.
Yes. And this kid is like, the toilets didn't work, so this is where I went. So not only do they not have money for books, they don't have money to fix the toilets either.
Yeah. Or get new carpets.
Yes.
Okay. But now, after the opening credits, we're going to have everybody in the classroom is dancing around to Baby Shark. Are you familiar with Baby Shark, Sarah?
I am familiar with Baby Shark. There was a point in time where they made the K-pop kids sing Baby Shark at things. So, yes.
Oh, really? Okay. Did you know that there's a Baby Shark TV show?
That I did not
on Nick
know.
Jr. Okay. Oh, gotta get with the times there.
Is it good? Do we need to do an episode about it?
It's okay. There are better Nick Jr. shows.
Okay, fair enough.
I like that it's like it does like 2 episodes per episode kind of show, and one of them was like a parody of Sandlot in like the first episode when it came out. I appreciated that.
Yeah, they got to put something in for the parents who get stuck watching this.
It's kind of like a little bit like SpongeBob animation because or like the Nickelodeon world, so they used a lot of like the underwater style.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's just okay. There are better Nick Jr. shows out there.
Okay.
But yeah, so at this point, another teacher is going to come into the classroom to complain about the Baby Shark music that's blasting in Janine's classroom. And this is Miss Howard, the one character that I would only use her last name.
We will say her name is Barbara, but
Barbara, yes, Barbara Howard.
Miss Howard.
Yeah.
Commands respect.
Yeah, Janine starts counting again to get the class to settle down. And then Miss Howard's just like, everybody in their seats. And then all the kids just stop immediately. That was good. And then, the best line in this scene is when before she gets the kids to settle down, she's like, you're distracting my kindergartners. I'm trying to teach them a letter C. He's like, and then she said, this song is like back that ass up for kids. That made me laugh real good.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And even at this point, Janine's like, oh, thanks for, she's just following her. She loves this woman. Like, she looks up to her so much and has been trying to get her to hang out with her. She says she reminds her of a teacher, her favorite teacher back in the day, who put on her report card that she was clingy and needed friends her own age. So there's a weird dynamic going on here, where Janine just desperately wants this woman to pay attention to her, and she's just busy doing her class stuff and doesn't care.
Yeah, because I guess she's been teaching. She's been teaching here for a year already, so she's probably been trying to get on Miss Howard's good side for a year at this point.
Yeah. I think she even accidentally calls her mom in this scene. It's a whole thing.
Oh, really? I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but then we also get to know Miss Howard because they're basically like jumping between like normal scenes and then confessionals
Mm-hmm.
for each of the teachers as we get introduced to them, and we find out Miss Howard loves teaching, even though she
Yes.
seems really strict.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Janine is like, "Oh, where's your class right now?" And she's like, "They're quietly standing in a line in the hallway." And then they walk outside and they're just like chilling there,
Yep.
not
Doing
making
exactly
a
what
sound.
they're supposed to.
And then as soon as Janine walks out, they're like, "Hi, Mrs. Teague." They're like totally perfect.
Mm-hmm. And her kids are young, like she's what, kindergartners, I think. Is she?
Yeah,
is?
yeah,
and
they're like 2 years younger.
way better behaved.
Yeah.
Than Janine's class.
I think Janine is like trying to get Miss Howard to like go to lunch with her or something, or do something together.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
she is like really just dodging it, and like you can tell Miss Howard doesn't really want anything to do with Janine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, Janine is like really overeager, and Miss Howard is just like tired of it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell it's like who's being more intense in this situation so far. Yeah, we're still getting to know them. Who's the next teacher we meet?
Oh, the next teacher we meet is Jacob Hill. He is another second-year teacher, but he teaches history.
Mhm.
So I guess they're older kids in this elementary school. For me, it wasn't until middle school when we broke out and had separate teachers for separate subjects. So
Okay.
this felt a little weird to me, but I don't know.
I think definitely in 4th grade for me, and maybe 3rd grade we started having
okay.
subjects. Yeah, my elementary school I went to 4th grade,
Oh,
and
mine went to fifth.
I wasn't in Philly, but I was like right outside of Philly.
Yeah, interesting. Okay.
But yeah, and then Jacob is the other teacher that survived 1 year and is still
Yes.
sticking around. So Jacob and Janine are friends for that reason. I would say as close as they're closer to each other than any other teachers in the school at this point. Yeah, I don't even know. Did you say that they're friends?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get to more on Jacob. Jacob is the reason I'm not sure if they're actually friends, but we'll see.
Okay.
And then which teacher is next? I think we basically they just throw a whole bunch of characters at you real fast here.
They throw you like little scenes. Melissa Shametti is our Shametti. She is another second grade teacher, but she's been there for a while. But she's like a stereotypical like South Philly Italian woman. Like they're trying to get this confessional out of her, and she's like, I guess they ask her name, and she's just like Melissa, and then it takes a while, and then she's like Shametti, fine. She doesn't want to
she didn't want to say her last name. Yeah,
I think at some point she's even like, "Are you guys cops? You got to tell me if you're cops."
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if she has like, if she does sketchy stuff or if she just is like overly cautious or something. I don't know what it is
yet. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Okay.
They do show her teaching her kids that $100 is also known as a C note. So that's her highlighting moment right now.
Now this actor from Melissa,
mm-hmm.
Did you recognize her from anything?
She felt familiar, but I wasn't sure. And then I didn't look her up. But now I feel like I have to.
This is Lisa N. Walter.
Okay.
And she plays Chessie in Parent Trap. You're familiar with Parent Trap, right? The Lindsay Lohan version.
Oh, the Lindsay Lohan version? Okay, yeah. It's been a long time, but okay.
But she's like the caretaker at the dad's wine vineyard house. Yeah.
And you recognized her from that?
Hell yeah.
Okay. I guess I didn't watch Parent Trap.
That's my wife's favorite movie, so I've seen it a few times.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so that's the first actor that I recognize in this. There's one other one for me that I recognized.
Okay.
When we get to it.
And then I think at this point, they have most of the teachers are now in what is the teacher's lounge. And they're sort of talking about the rug issue. And then the principal comes in.
Oh, this principal
indeed. Her name is Ava Coleman. And she seems real excited about the TV crew being there. She's like happy that they're going to be on TV. But Miss Howard is like, they're only here because they're covering underfunded, poorly managed schools, right? She's just like...
That she's the principal of.
Yeah. She's like, all press is good press. She does not seem like a typical principal, I'd say.
Yeah. I don't know what this principal's like goals are in like the show. I guess they're just getting by day to day.
Yeah. And I think we get a couple cuts of the different teachers to say that, she's just bad at her job.
yeah, bad at her job is the way they describe her. But then they get into, I think, Janine, I think, starts complaining about the rugs to Ava, the principal.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically doesn't get anywhere because, like, she doesn't have money. So she just, like, plays it off with a smile on her face, the principal does.
Yeah. Oh, and the teacher who was overwhelmed in her classroom earlier, whose name I did not note down, she comes in and she asks Ava for an aid for her class because she's like, I can't control them. It's too much. I need help. And she gets denied because it costs money that they don't have. And she's like, do you want to split your salary with someone else? No, then okay, get back at it.
Yeah. That's a much bigger request than a new rug.
Yes.
Because we're not talking about, like, wall-to-wall carpeting. They just want, like, a new square little rug area for, like, kids to sit on if they want to read or something. Like,
yeah, like during story time.
Yeah. It's a very small request, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But we get a little character moment here, though, because so Miss Howard and Melissa are both the, like, veteran, experienced teachers at this school that have been there for, I don't know how long they've been there, but long enough.
Long enough, yeah.
At least they've been in the Philadelphia school district long. I don't know how long they've been at this school in particular. But they basically, like, don't back up Janine and, like, ask for the new rugs, even though they need them too, because they just know they're not going to get it. And then their thing is like, oh, you just got to deal with, like, you just got to make do with what you get. Don't ask for anything. Like, it's not worth the time to try to get new stuff. And
Janine's kind of, like, insistent. She's like, no, like, we can get stuff. Like, Melissa got those new toy cash registers for her class. But Melissa's like, no, those aren't toys. I just know a guy who's doing a demo on a Walmart, and they're real cash registers. And she's like, what? Because apparently Melissa has a guy for everything. And she even referenced here that she knows a guy working the stadium rebuild. So if you need any rebar, she's got you.
Yes. And then the next thing I have is Miss Schwartz has kicked a child at the school. Is this the next thing that happens?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah, Janine's, like, doing another confessional, and she gets interrupted by a small child going, Miss Schwartz has kicked a kid, and everyone's in the hallway.
Yeah. They didn't show it, or, like...
Yeah, it didn't show it, but it cuts to, like, a stereotypical, like, whenever anybody has a fight in a school, there's the two people, and then they're surrounded by a big crowd. It's that, but the two people in the middle are the teacher and a small child.
Yeah. And the teachers, and Miss Schwartz is like, they hit me first or something.
Yep.
Yeah. But I guess that was a bit of an admission that she did kick the child.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
She was not hiding that she kicked this kid.
So, yeah, Miss Schwartz is going to get fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do have a series of all of the teachers saying, like, you can't hit a kid. That's the one thing you can't do. And they're like, you can yell at them. You can threaten them. You can threaten their parents. You could mildly embarrass them. And Melissa was like, I even threatened a grandfather once, but you can't hit them.
And then I believe the temporary replacement for Miss Schwartz is the janitor at first.
Yes.
And the janitor is a character on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know. In 2 episodes, I am not so sure what the janitor is yet on this show.
But they got to him teaching the kids about the Illuminati. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Pretty great.
Don't worry. The janitor's not going to be the sub for very long.
That's true.
Because the next scene we get enters Gregory Eddy, who is going to be the substitute replacement for Miss Schwartz.
Yes. Did you recognize him?
Yes, this is my other one.
This is, I forget his name suddenly, but he's Chris, and everybody hates Chris.
Yes. I didn't know his name. It's Tyler James Williams.
Yes.
Is his name. I didn't know his name, but I looked that up. And I wrote down, there's been a few weird interactions with Jacob, the history teacher, so far, but this one made me laugh in this scene.
Okay.
Because I guess there's a weird thing with Jacob because he's just weird when he's trying to talk to black people. Is that, like, his character in the show?
I think his character is he's too woke, like there's a couple times where he starts to try and talk about, like, he did Teachers Without Borders in Africa, and he starts to talk about it, and Janine's like, what have I told you? Stop talking about that. It's weird. And sometimes he tries to quote, like, books about, like, white fragility and like anti-racism and stuff, like, which are things that are good to read and know about, but, like, the way he brings it up all the time feels very performative and weird. and like
okay.
he doesn't know what to do with himself, I guess. But
Okay.
I feel like this moment he like tries to bro out with him. He's like, "Oh yeah, another dude teacher," but also like this is his first time meeting him. Like he should be more formal, I guess.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just really kind of like he's an awkward dude. Is what it
Yeah.
comes down to a lot.
I think Jacob's really funny on the show, but
Oh yeah.
I couldn't tell like, okay, why, like what are they going for with this character?
I think too woke is what
Too
they're
woke.
going
Okay,
for.
that's interesting. Okay. Well, when Gregory the sub comes in, he's like, "Oh, finally another male teacher, another guy teacher, whatever to talk to." He was like, "We can talk about sports. Do you like women's tennis?"
Or as I call it, tennis.
Yeah, I don't know why he said that. That was weird. But even just, do you like women's tennis? In the context of like they're in Philadelphia and Philadelphia has 4 major sports teams.
Yes.
And then he asked him if he liked women's tennis. That made me laugh pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is a fun character, although seems to get on a lot of people's nerves in the show.
Also, Ava, the principal, thought Gregory was a strippergram or something.
Oh yeah, she thinks he's super hot and is forever gonna be like bordering on sexual harassment. With
Forever?
him.
Okay, oh no.
For a while.
For these
yeah.
2 episodes, for sure. But I was like,
Yeah.
that's the whole show.
Well, there's more to it than the show. She might get over it at some point. I don't remember. It persists for a while at least. But then like also let's see, Miss Howard is super nice because she's just a respectable human being. And then Melissa just refuses to learn his name because she doesn't think he'll be around long enough for it to matter.
Melissa and Miss Howard are probably my favorite characters.
They're a
in the
great
show.
duo. Yeah.
They just get shit done. Let's go.
But we do have a confessional with Gregory, and he says he just needed a job until he can be a principal, which is what he really studied for. And he said he actually interviewed at Abbott and he got the job, but then something happened.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay. I heard this in the show. I didn't realize that Gregory had gotten the principal job. Okay.
Yes. But then what happened is that we cut away to a confessional with Ava, and she is very excitedly telling the story about how she goes to the same church as the superintendent, and she caught him cheating on his wife with the deaconess, so now she's got a job as a principal.
Okay, that explains. Okay, now I get the Ava character more now. Yeah, she's just getting by day to day.
Oh, yeah.
This is just a way to make money until it stops working.
Yep.
Okay. The next thing that I have is that Janine and Gregory are going to meet each other for the first time in the bathroom because they both have students that had either throw up issues or bathroom issues that needed help in the bathroom, basically.
But I love, like, the first thing she says to him. She, like, brings this child into the bathroom, sees him come out of a stall with, like, some kid's pants, and she's just like, random man, child pants, security.
I was confused because I thought, like, oh, was he in, like, the women's room by accident? But I guess they don't have, like, girls and boys rooms at this school. It didn't seem like that was the issue at all.
Probably do not have enough working toilets.
Yeah. But then Gregory's talking about, like, yeah, I went to flush the toilet, and then I didn't realize it was going to squirt back up at me.
And she's like, oh, nobody told you about reversey toilet? It's so bad it has a name.
Reversey toilet.
Oh, this school.
Oh, no. But then, despite the grossness of this situation, there was, like, chemistry between them.
Yeah, this is the grossest meet cute ever.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what I just saw, but it was a super weird situation. What do you have next?
It is the next day, I think, and Janine asks Barb to review her rug request email because Ava had earlier said, fine, I will request emergency funding from the school board, so just email whatever request you need in. And Barb was like, that doesn't matter. She's not going to get any money. This is not going to work. Like, what are you doing? But Janine is still just like, no, this job is like, you have to try to make things better. And Barb's like, no, you just work with what you got. And so this is their contention for a while. But then Ava makes an announcement that everybody should come and see the new special improvements for the school. So Janine starts to brag about how she was right. And she does a little, like, impression of Miss Howard, which is just like, oh, Janine, you're so wonderful. You were right. And she starts like singing a little bit, and it's just like her dream of what their relationship is or something. It is silly and does not live long because they go outside and see what Ava has actually, like, she actually got $3,000 of emergency funding. And what did she spend it on, James?
Well, I couldn't tell if she spent it on one thing or two things because she starts talking about her hair, but I couldn't tell if this was just a metaphor for what she was about to reveal or if she actually spent some of the money to get her hair done.
Oh, I think it was just a metaphor, but I also wouldn't put it past her to spend some of the money on getting her hair done.
Yeah, because she was talking about like you have to look good on the outside to be good on the inside. So then she reveals what she bought with the $3,000, and it's just a giant new plastic sign with the name of the school on it, but it has like a caricature of her like leaning on the words of the school, so like everybody knows that like it's her school basically or something. I don't even know what the point of it was.
Yep.
Yeah, not worth the money.
No, but you know, it was a rush job, so she needed it. She needed all the money for it.
It was weird. I guess they were trying to make like illustrate her as a person that like, oh, once she has expendable money, she just spends it immediately, kind of thing.
There is an episode later where she spends money on like rims for the bus.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so like she likes to spend money on flashy things instead of useful practical things, and she doesn't listen to the people around her. She's just real bad at her job.
I guess she does think these are good things, right? Like that's the dumbness of this character. Okay.
Yeah, because she has no experience in the school system. Like she's not here because she wanted to be or like came up as a teacher
Qualified,
or anything.
yeah.
Like she's just here and she's like, oh well, we'll make it look better and that'll help.
Yeah. So this is pretty bad.
Yeah.
The principal, Ava, no go here. So Janine has a great idea.
Oh yeah.
She just is gonna send a complaint email to the superintendent about Ava and get her fired because there's no way she can get away with wasting this money on this stupid sign.
Exactly. Seems totally reasonable.
And she's very happy with herself, Janine is. So she goes and talks to the experienced teachers, Melissa and Miss Howard, and they're like, oh, shouldn't have done that. Because the way that it works in this school district is if you email the superintendent, it gets forwarded to your boss instead.
Because the superintendent doesn't want to hear anything.
Yeah. So Ava is Janine's boss. So the email went directly to Ava.
And they're standing in the hallway kind of right outside of like the main office of this school. And they just look over and Ava's sitting there with the like announcement microphone making an announcement like, all teachers, we're going to have a trust workshop over lunch so we can be a work family. And she's just like staring daggers at Janine.
Yeah. And then we head to the meeting. How does this meeting go, Sarah?
So they're all sitting there. Some people are eating sad cafeteria pizza, which, that took me back to elementary school pizza, which was, I don't know, weird and bad. But,
okay.
I don't know, maybe you had good elementary school pizza, but we did not.
I think we only had pizza on like Fridays, and I feel like it was like from Domino's or something, which I guess is like a different kind of bad pizza depending on what you like, but
much better than the weird square cardboard pizza we had in my elementary school.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Gregory asks why they're all there, and Ava's just like, well, first of all, I think she calls him like her little chocolate gumdrop or some weird sexual thing. But then she says like, I don't know, she's always just throwing weird little like
wait, who said this? Ava?
Yeah, Ava to Gregory.
Oh, to Gregory. Okay, I must have missed that one.
But she says they're there because she learns that someone doesn't respect her. But it's not about her. Because if you can't respect her, you can't respect the school. That's just mathematically impossible. And so that's why they have to have a trust workshop. And the very first exercise is they don't want to single anyone out, but you get to say whatever you want to people out loud, no matter how critical. It's going to be fun. So let's start with Janine. And she just starts saying terrible things about Janine.
Yeah. It wasn't like that terrible though. It was just like silly things, right? It was like her voice is squeaky and she's annoying or something.
Yeah, she's pushy and squeaky and annoying.
But all the teachers got pretty offended by that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the worst thing you could say about somebody.
I think it was more of just the idea of let's shit on Janine right now.
Yeah.
But then she calls on Jacob and Barb to go next, and simultaneously Jacob starts trying to talk about her hair, and Miss Howard just goes, absolutely not. And as soon as Jacob hears it, he goes, absolutely not. So, I mean, I guess they're friends, but maybe, like, I don't know, Jacob's a bit too much of a follower, I think.
I just got the sense that Jacob felt pressure to say something and he couldn't come up with anything. But this is actually a good moment because like all the teachers basically, even though they don't want to like go to Ava with their problems, they also are like, they're like, no, we're not just going to sit in a room and shit on each other. Like, this is so stupid.
And like this entire episode, they've been like, Janine, you're wrong. Like this doesn't work this way. But like now they're like rallied behind her, you know, like she's one of us. You can't do this shit. This is bullshit. But it's fine because Ava also brought one of Janine's students to come and talk shit on her too.
Yeah, that was okay. Yeah. Basically, this gets to the point of ridiculousness, and then Janine's just like, "Look, I was the one that reported you to the superintendent. Like everybody can know it was me, and I did it because I care about this school. And is that really so bad?" And then she just like leaves,
and then everybody else walks out too.
Yeah, all the other teachers actually like stand up and leave too because they support Janine more than the principal.
Yes. As they should, because the principal's ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, then what happens in this great scene? They basically run up, all the teachers that we've met so far basically run off to catch up to Janine and tell her that they like support her and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Janine is standing outside of her classroom looking in, and there's a kid just sleeping on her floor. Like he's got his jacket bundled up under his head and he's just sleeping on the floor. And she says that like he does this every lunch because like, you know, his family life isn't great. His parents fight a lot, so he doesn't get a lot of sleep. And he has said that the rug that was there before was like softer than his bed at home. Like, so there's this big sort of emotional moment of like, here's part of why this rug matters so much to her, is because she's trying to get it for this kid amongst the other ones. And kind of all the different teachers take moments adding to the big speech about how what they do is important, and they're all like trying hard, but it's really hard without the funding, but they're all commiserating. And at one point, Miss Howard suggests that they put their money together and buy Janine a rug, but she refuses because she knows they're all poor because, again, no funding, they don't get paid well.
Yeah, Janine even make it seem like her salary is like the same as Miss Howard and Melissa's, even though they're like much more experienced. Like that you don't get raises in this system. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like this scene. It was a little like, it's like a real moment because like this kid, I think they were saying like, oh, there's so many kids in the house that he lives in that there just isn't enough beds for people, essentially.
Yeah.
And so it's like a super real moment. But then seeing all these teachers that have kind of been like bickering with each other throughout the episode a little bit all come together and like kind of have the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
was finally like a good feel-good moment of the show, despite it being kind of like definitely a real moment as well. And then they finally, despite the fact that Melissa mentioned much earlier in the episode that she knows people with things, Janine is finally like, oh, like, Melissa, do you know somebody that knows somebody that can get us some rugs? And I was a little confused at first because I was like, oh, maybe Janine remembered that she knew somebody that knew somebody, but no, they actually just used Melissa, like exactly what Melissa said earlier in the episode. And basically the guy that she knows that is doing the renovation at the stadium, she gets him to just like snag some carpets that are going to be put into like the new rooms, I guess, that they're building for the stadium.
Yeah, so all the teachers now have nice new rugs with the Eagles logo on.
Yeah, they're just Eagles rugs. They have the giant, they're green with the Eagles logo on them. Mm-hmm. But they seem nicer than the rugs they had previously as well. Yeah. So
and probably more durable, you know? They're like high traffic rugs or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Janine tries to thank him and is like, what's your name? And both the guy and Melissa at the same time are like, he doesn't have a name. Stop asking questions.
Yeah. It's the first time using people that know people.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do. Yeah. And then I think Janine is going to talk to Gregory after their win for the day. Mm-hmm. And Gregory said he's going to stay for the kids.
Yes.
Or maybe
kids.
Or maybe also for Janine, question mark.
He will not say that outright, but yeah.
Yeah. And the episode ends with Janine is feeling good and optimistic, and she's ready to give it her all.
And try to fix that reversey toilet.
Yeah, the reverse. Does she try to fix that in this episode?
Yes.
That's the end of the episode, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like going through like a YouTube video of how to fix it, but then she like messes up one of the steps and tries to flush too early, and it's the reversing toilet strikes again.
Yeah. It ends on a nice little like her giving a final confessional where she's like, we don't have any money from the school or the city, but I could still do this job. And then it shows the reversey toilet situation, and then she goes, "But money would still be nice."
Yeah, okay, that is good.
So yeah, how you feeling after episode 1?
It was fun to talk about it. I wrote down that it was actually like it's kind of like a slow start, but I actually feel like almost every show with this mockumentary style has that same feeling. Like I think there's a good amount of people that like struggle to get through the early episodes of The Office when they're first watching it.
Yeah.
And like I think like almost everybody that watches Parks and Rec says like, oh yeah, you gotta pretty much get through the first season before you really get a grasp of these characters.
Yeah.
So it felt very similar to that in that they were like they throw all these new characters at you all at once, and you haven't really gotten to know them, but they're already like making jokes that like you're not sure what's a joke and what's not a joke because you don't actually know the characters yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it had that kind of feel, but I definitely had some like there were some real like laugh out moments, and the show was a little bit real at times despite being a comedy. But it was nice and feel good at the end. So I would definitely watch episode 2 at this point.
Okay, good. Because I was gonna make you watch episode 2 anyway.
Okay, yeah. But I would have to at least give one more episode of the show. It hasn't blown me away yet, but
that's fair.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's just having to introduce all those characters makes it slow, and you don't quite get to the like really how the show feels until the second episode. And I'd say like having watched The Office and Parks and Rec, I don't think that the first season of Abbott Elementary suffers the same way those 2 first seasons suffer. Like I think they find their footing a lot quicker. So I don't know. We'll see what you have to say after the second episode.
Okay. You ready for episode 2?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Episode 2 starts with the Action News theme song. Are you familiar with this?
Oh my gosh, this went on in like a wave of nostalgia.
Yeah,
just like
so
I'm
ridiculous.
like this news station was on in my house every day for a long period of time.
I don't think I ever caught the morning action news though, because that's what they're watching here, right? But they have the same jingle at the beginning of it. If you grew up in the Philadelphia area, it's just like burned into your head. Yeah.
Because apparently the teachers like watching the morning news together. They get in a little early because it calms them down after wanting to take a wrench to someone's side mirror in traffic, which, I mean, that's a Melissa line. That feels right.
Wait, sorry. I toned out because you did not say what I think you're going to say. What did you say?
I said they all come in and watch the morning news together because it calms them down after.
And what about a wrench?
Melissa says that it calms them down after wanting to take a wrench to someone's side mirror in traffic.
Oh, okay. I missed that. Okay. Yeah. Like you said, all the teachers, they want to watch Action News in the morning, so they actually get there early to watch it because I guess, I don't know, they made it seem like they couldn't watch it at home. I think it's just a timing thing with when they have to be at work, not necessarily like they don't have TVs at home.
Oh, yeah.
But Miss Howard is very taken with the news anchor that I'm familiar with his face, but
Jim Gardner.
He's got to be so old at this point.
Oh, he is. He's 75, I think. I looked it up, and he has been anchoring this Action News since 1977. Like he's a staple. But yeah, she is very taken with him.
Yeah, that was weird.
There's
I didn't know what to think
where
about
she's
that.
like, I saw Jim Gardner at the Chipotle once. He ordered a rice bowl so handsomely. Like, the way she talks about it is amazing.
So weird. Okay, interesting.
And then we get a little shot with Jacob talking about how it's important to support local journalism and, on the streets, powerful stuff. And then they cut to the news showing like a small dog riding a toy car.
Oh, that's how they set that up. And then we get a weird moment with the janitor here too, right? He's like,
Yes.
I love action news too, because I can walk into the room when everybody's watching it and I can say whatever I want and nobody hears me. Because that's how into
Yep.
action news they are.
Yes.
So he just walks in and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna go home today. I'm gonna go fishing, and yeah, I'll be back tomorrow." He basically just like tells them he's not gonna be there today,
hmm
which is gonna be a problem
Yes,
for
it
this
is going to be a
episode that the janitor is
problem.
not gonna be around. But next, we find out that Janine has a boyfriend. Oh no,
Yes, she has a boyfriend, Tariq.
that was so
Um,
disappointing to find
it
out.
was very disappointing. And you even see, like, she pulls up in her car and he's in the passenger seat, and you see Gregory go in the school behind and, like, notice that she's in a car with a dude and go, hmm. He does not have a big reaction because he is not a man of big reactions, but
Yeah.
he notices.
But Janine's boyfriend is like a rapper slash music producer. But the
Yes.
way that he's talking about it and the way that this conversation going is like he seems like he's just lying about like everything, right? Is like the
I think
feel
it's
that
mostly he's just very, like, he is small time, like, he's not successful. I think it's true that he has a gig that he talks
you
about
think
later in the
so?
evening.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, he says he sold out the show and it sounds fancy, but then when she's like, "Oh, maybe I should come," he's like, "Oh, well, they only can fit 15 people in there, and if you get 16 in there, it's going to be a fire hazard." So, like, he's clearly, like, only performing at small locations, and
Well,
I don't know.
even the fact that he's telling her not to go makes it seem like it's not even real, you know?
Well, maybe.
Can you confirm or deny if this is true?
It never comes up as a lie, and later
Oh,
he
really?
does,
Okay.
like, get a job that has to do with his music skills. So, like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But, like, mostly he at this point he is unsuccessful on the music front. Like, Janine even says that, like, all of his TikToks go viral, which is the mark of a true musician these days. So, like, that's what we're we're working with here.
Oh, okay. I this boyfriend came across as like totally like he was almost just like taking advantage of her in my that's how I felt.
Oh, I think that is true in many other ways, but
Oh,
I
okay.
think he
He's not
does in
totally
fact
lying,
have
but
a
he is
yeah,
taking
yeah.
advantage of her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, he's not contributing to the household in a, very good way or anything, but
Yeah. He's not contributing financially really
yeah. Or in other helpful ways,
or
like,
household
yeah.
tasks and yeah.
Yeah.
I think but like there's another character moment for Janine like she's just like probably too nice is how to
Mhm.
describe Janine.
Yeah.
The boyfriend just like casually mentions that he's hungry or something and she's just like, "Oh, here, take my breakfast sandwich that I got." Like
Yeah.
eat it. I'll just grab something in the school cafeteria. Even though like last episode, she really made it seem like the school cafeteria had terrible food. Like
Terrible.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but like she didn't even think twice about giving
Mhm.
him her breakfast sandwich,
Yeah.
which is going to lead to her not eating breakfast,
Yes.
which is going to be
Gonna be important later.
something. Yeah, yeah,
But I think she also, like, is I don't want to say she has ill intent here, but, like, she also, like, wants him to do something after this, so maybe that is also part of it, because
Oh, you think she's being extra nice, more nice than normal here?
well, probably not. She is
Probably
very,
not.
very
Yeah.
nice. But she says that their rent is going up, so they have to redo their budget, and she has left the, like, folder of important financial stuff in the kitchen, and she's like, "Go over the budget. Like, I need you to do this." And it's like, clearly he does not have a job to get to, so, like, he should be able to spend time on
Yeah.
this. But he keeps, like, going, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'll get to it," and she's trying to, like, emphasize this is important in a way that, like, it sounds like he's been putting it off for a while, but it's also not firm enough where, like, he will actually do it necessarily. So I feel like she has a rough start to her day.
Yeah, because she's kind of like, "Hey, I really need you to get to this. If you have the time to." Like she like she's like
Yeah.
half being stern about it, but not. She's no Miss Howard, basically.
Yeah, yeah. And she can't count to 40 to make him do it.
Yeah,
So it's
exactly.
just, yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. So Janine goes into school, and I don't know. I think they refer to this as the back hallway, but maybe it's also one of the entrances of the school. But basically, there's like a kid who's just like standing there, and she's like scared to walk down the hall because all the lights in the hallway are like flickering.
Yes.
I think
yes.
this is where like the kid, I don't know if this kid or some other kid refers to it like they're like, I felt like it feels like I'm in The Shining,
Yeah.
which is like, how do they even know that movie?
Yeah, I think later she tells the other teachers in the teachers' lounge, and she's just like, they shouldn't even know that. And they're like, it's a great move.
Yeah, the other teachers didn't seem to think that The Shining was a big deal.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be the issue that Janine is gonna try to be solving for the episode, to try to like fix the lights, because she is not happy that the kids are scared to even walk into the school.
Yes. And Mr. Johnson has not gone fishing yet. He's on his way, but she tries to get him to fix it. And he's just like, we're going to need a proper electrician to get in here because I can't do anything about it. And also he's going fishing. And so maybe they'll fix it later.
It ends up being a lie, right? Like he could have fixed it, maybe?
No, I don't know that because I think at the end he just fixes what she ends up breaking. I don't think he fixes the initial flickering light problem.
Oh, he doesn't. Does that actually remain in the show? The flickering lights?
No, but
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know.
It is unclear by the end.
Yeah.
Of the
All right.
episode.
We'll get to it.
But yeah, so Janine is again frustrated by someone in her life not putting off doing something important. Like she says, she looks at this kid and she's like, I promise I'm going to actually get to it, unlike janitors and boyfriends. And this kid is confused.
Yeah.
But
And then we cut to Gregory's classroom. It's like the school starts at like 8:00, but it's like 9:00 right now. And some mom with her kid just like walks into the classroom and drops the kid off like an hour late for school. And the mom came all the way to the classroom, which is weird, like to the kid's desk, which I thought was weird. Like even if a kid was late, you'd think they would just walk in by themselves. Yeah.
I think that's just for the convenience of him meeting the parent, I guess.
Yeah,
you know?
or something, yeah.
But he's like, it's 9. And she's just like, word. And leaves.
Word. And then leaves, yeah.
But he like half-heartedly tries to be like, school starts earlier than that. It's just ineffective. And she's gone.
I can't tell if Gregory knows how to deal with this situation, but only because he's a sub, he doesn't feel like he has the authority to.
I think like they have set this weird dynamic up where he studied specifically to be a principal and doesn't know anything about teaching really.
Oh, okay.
Which
That's
I
what they're
didn't
going for.
know I didn't know that was an option. Like I just assumed you were a teacher for a while and then became a principal. I don't know.
Oh, maybe he didn't practice the teaching skills as hard.
Yeah, or something.
Like
yeah, it's there. It's like what he focused on is different enough that he does not have the fundamental teacher skills, but he still was qualified enough to work as a substitute in the school
He's
district.
better than the janitor.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
True, it's a low bar. And I don't know that he's like terribly into teaching either. Like he's very focused on like he wants to be a principal and he's just biding time until he's able to get a principal job.
So this kid wasn't his first time showing up an hour late. It's like it's basically been happening almost every day.
Yes.
So this is the issue that Gregory will be tackling for the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But back to Janine,
Mm-hmm.
and she's gonna go get a ladder and climb up. They're like the fluorescent lights that are like in the ceiling, right?
Mhm.
Or like LED
Yes.
lights. I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I think they're
But
fluorescent.
like
lights.
the long tube lights.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets a ladder and she's determined to fix it. And then she like gets like one run up the ladder and she's like, "Oh, I forgot I was afraid of ladders." And I think she says afraid of ladders, but I don't know if that like
not afraid of heights, specifically afraid of
I wasn't sure
ladders.
if that was like an equivalent of afraid of heights or just like
I think it is, yeah.
okay, yeah. But she just sees like a dangling wire.
Because there are a bunch of them up there.
Oh, that's easy. That's all it is. And she like jams the wire in somewhere, and then the whole
It
hallway
works.
just goes out. Did it
Yeah,
work
it
for a
gets-
second?
Yeah, it got real bright, and then like the whole hallway went out, and then like teachers and children are coming out of rooms because other rooms are out of power. And it turns out that not the entire school is out of power, but just a portion of it. She's totally destroyed.
Yeah. And then we find out that Ava, the principal, is a doomsday prepper.
Yes, everyone's very calm, and she's just like, it's the end of the world, get ready.
Yeah. This principal is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Miss Howard just calmly just gets the
Mhm.
information.
Yep.
She finds out, okay, the gym still has power, and she's like, all right, every class without power, we'll just go to the gym and take a corner of the room and we'll keep on teaching. Like she just knows how to
Yep.
deal with it immediately.
She is amazing.
And then the scene ends with Janine like she's struggling to get down from the ladder.
Yeah, Gregory's helping her, and she's like, am I doing it? Did I do it? Am I
She-
down yet? And she
She's
just
like
hasn't
hasn't
moved.
Yeah. and then everyone's going to go to the gym.
Yeah, and so you have like 4 classes trying to be taught in the room while gym is also happening, and it is loud and difficult, but I don't know, Gregory seems unfazed.
Yeah. And then I wrote down as another boyfriend moment in this episode that Janine gets a text from her boyfriend, and the text is just like, remember to gas up the car.
Yeah. So like he took her car, drove it around, and did not fill up the gas, and it's just like, this guy seems annoying.
It doesn't seem like the boyfriend is like even like carries money on him or like he does, but he doesn't want to waste it on like everyday tasks. You know,
he
like,
is not terribly considerate.
He wants Janine to use her money on the gas and food and stuff. Yeah. So he's like kind of hoarding his own money or something. That's why I felt like this guy was like conning her or scamming her or like doing something above just like being a bad like. He's doing it intentionally. Yeah. He's not just like being a bad person naturally or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But yeah, so this like gets her annoyed again, and she's like, "I gotta take care of this. I broke the power. I gotta fix the power." And Gregory's like, "You should really just wait for someone because you know you're gonna have to climb on a ladder or something again, and that's gonna be a problem." But no, she's intense on it. So like she skips lunch to go and try and fix the lights.
Yeah, but. Something I forget how they set this up, but we find out that the lunch ladies don't like Janine.
Oh yeah, she tries to give her excuse. She's some of the teachers are leaving for lunch, and they're like, "You coming, Janine?" And she's like, "No, I think I'm gonna stick around and help the lunch ladies." So she's like covering for the fact that she's gonna try to fix the lights because no one wants her to fix the lights. And then Melissa's like, "I know that's a lie because the lunch ladies don't like you."
But Janine didn't even realize they didn't like her. Right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
They cut to a confessional with the lunch lady. This made me laugh. Really, this was good. And then quickly, the oldest of her whole line. She's like, "She always coming in the kitchen saying hello and whatnot. It's unsanitary." That's why they don't like Janine.
I mean,
she says to load too much. I guess. Well, is it? You think it's like a legitimate complaint?
Well, she doesn't have a hairnet on. Maybe that's the problem.
I guess so. Yeah. Okay.
Bringing up third-party contaminants into their sanitary gross kitchen.
I guess that's true. I took it as more of like they just didn't like people, like random people saying hello to them all the time.
Oh yeah, and also like.
But I guess it is unsanitary. You're right. Yeah.
Janine is portrayed as like a overly peppy, sort of maybe a little intrusive person, where
Yeah.
her hype level is up higher than other people's, and she gets on people's nerves.
Yeah. That line made me laugh. That's the only line from the lunch lady we're gonna get. I hope the lunch lady's still in the show later.
We get a different lunch person, a lunch man later.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember. She might come back.
What's next? I think we get Gregory.
Oh, Gregory has asked Miss Howard for help with like what's he supposed to do about this kid. But the bell rang, so she's like, over lunch, I go to the nail salon. Come with me, and we'll talk about it. So they go to the nail salon, and he tries to sit down next to her, but the workers at the salon are like, "No, you can't only sit if you're getting your nails done." And he's like, "Fine, I'll get clear nails." And she's just like, "No clear."
That was weird. I don't know if is that like a cheaper thing. Like it's not worth their time to do only clear.
Maybe
or they were just trolling him. I don't know.
Solid maybe, but he decides to get a single blue nail so he can sit down and talk to her. Basically, she's just like, "Yeah, you just got to talk to her."
Yeah, she didn't have any more advice.
Yeah. But earlier when they had talked about it, like he referenced which kid it was, and she was familiar because she had that kid in her class when he was in kindergarten or something. So really this whole thing is a setup because the mom of that kid comes into the nail salon when they're there because Miss Howard remembers that this is the mom and she is also in this nail salon every week when she comes in. So yeah, she sits down next to Gregory and he's just like the most awkward person in the world.
Yeah. He wasn't the most awkward, but
he just would not start a conversation.
Yeah, he didn't talk, but it wasn't actually weird because it didn't seem like it was weird to just sit in silence in the nail salon.
Well, yeah,
but
that's fair.
from his perspective, which we're kind of watching it through, is like he wants to start a conversation, but he's not doing it because he doesn't know what to say.
Super uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's not like saying weird stuff and making it awkward though.
Yeah,
they didn't make it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not pulling a Jacob.
But I love this scene, Sarah.
Oh yeah,
because this is such a Ted Lasso scene. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, so the thing that I love about Ted Lasso is that it's a comedy drama, so there is drama in the show. But every dramatic bit, for the most part, in that show is like, if there's a conflict between two characters, that conflict will be resolved within like 1 or 2 episodes, because everybody in that show is like actually an adult that is willing to talk to each other about their problems. Yeah. Whereas like other shows you'll watch and like two characters will have like a massive feud against each other for like an entire season just because they're unwilling to talk to each other about how they're feeling. And that's the kind of drama that I'm just like, I'm not here for it. I don't really want to watch that, you know?
Right.
So I don't mind a little bit of conflict as long as like, you know, people are going to be like adults at the end of the day. Yeah. So Gregory finally gets encouraged by Miss Howard to actually start talking to the mom. And then he's totally eloquent and presents a very good case, and is just like, hey, your kid is really smart, but every time he comes in late an hour, he's missing this activity and this activity and this activity. And the mom is like, oh, really? I thought you guys just like build blocks all day or something. Like, I don't know. She didn't realize that he was like actually missing legit learning by coming in an hour. So she's just like, oh, I'll definitely bring him in on time from now on.
Yeah. And she was only bringing him in late because like it was convenient for when her work started. Like it wasn't a big thing. So yeah. She's has a totally reasonable response. It's just like, oh yeah, I will fix this.
Yeah. So issue resolved. 2 adults talking to each other resolved the issue. That was awesome. I like it.
Yeah. It was good. Unfortunately, though, the power in the school cannot be fixed by talking to it.
Yes.
Because we come back to the school and Janine and Jacob are like at the circuit breaker, the big box with all the switches in it. And she opens it up and it's just like things are labeled like don't touch, not even a little bit. And it turns out like they're Boys to Men songs or something. Like nothing makes sense in here. And also they're just wires everywhere.
Yeah. They made a bunch of Boys to Men jokes, but I am not familiar with the song title, so they didn't land for me. But,
same.
But I don't know who put these here. Did like the janitor put these here?
Yeah, he did reference earlier that he has a particular system he put in place in like 92 or whatever.
Okay.
So I guess that was Boys to Men related.
Okay,
I don't know.
I got you.
But there is a little moment here where like Janine's like, oh yeah, we can do this. I have to mess with mine in my apartment all the time and it's no problem. And Jacob's like, you should probably move. And she's like, I would, but Tariq says he's practicing his credit score, so we can't really afford to move anywhere else.
His credit score is like 3 something, like 380
or something. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's crazy low.
Yeah, but she fiddles with something and the power comes back on, right? Definitely.
No. I wrote the first time I wrote, oh, the whole power of the school went out. Then I found out, oh, it wasn't actually the whole power. I think now the whole power in the school is out.
Yeah, now
because
the
of
entire
Janine.
power is out. Yeah. And it is important to note that today has been referenced as a very hot day. And so now the air conditioning is out too.
Even though they said it was February, it was like a super hot day in February, right?
Yes.
It was something
and
weird like that, yeah.
Jacob time to talk about global warming because he's very up on all the issues.
I see what you're saying now with like the super wokeness. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. So I think like Gregory and Miss Howard get back from the nail salon.
Yeah,
at
all
this
the
point.
other teachers get back from lunch and they're super mad.
Yeah, they're always like yelling at you, like, "What did you do? You said you wouldn't do anything." And then Janine just gets overwhelmed, and then she actually like passes out because she also skipped lunch.
She has not eaten all day, and she gets lightheaded. Yeah.
And then next thing we know, she's waking up in the nurse's office.
Yes.
And she leaves the nurse's office to find that everybody's like in the courtyard of the school, and they just like did the classic like city thing. I don't think it's like only a Philadelphia thing where they like pop open a fire hydrant, so it's like a sprinkler, basically.
Yeah. That is I think that's universally a city thing.
Yeah. So it's basically like, okay, the entire power in the school's out and the air conditioning is not working and it's super hot, so we'll just crack up our fire hydrant and let the kids play outside all day. So like, all the other teachers came up with a solution to get them through the day in this terrible situation they were in, while Janine was passed out, basically.
Yeah.
And basically, Janine's going to talk to Melissa, and she's going to get a little lesson from Melissa here. And then I like this. Melissa's going to talk to her about how, look, you need to take care of yourself so that you can take care of these kids. Like, you can't burn out, or these kids won't have anybody to look out for them. So I like that. We're building here.
Yeah. And she's highlighting that she's like, Miss Howard and I do care. It's just like, we know our limits, so that way we can take care of these kids. Like, it is a nice, like, these older teachers are teaching her, and it's what she kind of wanted in like a mentorship from Miss Howard, just it never quite comes out in the way that she envisioned it, you know?
Yeah. And then Gregory's going to learn a lesson too from Miss Howard, basically about dealing with awkward interactions. Because Gregory basically was avoiding the mom because he didn't want to have an awkward interaction. And she's just like, hey, this is part of the job, deal with it. Basically, that's all the lesson was for Gregory. And then she's like saying something about encouraging him to go head first into awkward interactions. And then he just like looks over across the courtyard at Janine. Because I guess he's been looking to have, like, ask her out.
At the very least, he is interested in her. I think.
But he's kind of been avoiding her because he doesn't want to be awkward around her. And then what happens? That was the good wrap up. Feel good.
That was, yes, but there's a little bit more. We see Janine inside the school again. It looks like she's getting ready to go home for the day, but she leaves a message for Tariq on his voicemail. And this time she is really firm about, like, he needs to look at the budget tonight. Like, this needs to happen. And at this point, when she hangs up, Gregory comes in and asks if she wants to go get anything to eat with him. And she was gonna, like, initially wait for Tariq to bring her food after his show. And that was gonna be at, like, 10 o'clock at night. But she, like, has this realization where she's like, no, I'm hungry now, so I should eat.
Yep. Yeah, she learned her lesson. So you're saying the boyfriend remains in the show for a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. I thought this boyfriend might be like, he's out already after one episode.
No. They gotta drag these things out for a while. Okay. Yeah.
So they're gonna have a food date together thing.
Or at
together?
least they seemed like they were, but they're on their way out, and Jacob invites himself.
Yeah, which is fair.
But Gregory does give a look to the camera, like, this fucking guy.
Jacob's cool though. He can come along.
Yeah.
And then the lights come back on in the school.
Because Mr. Johnson came back.
Is that what the gender's name is?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's still in his like fishing gear, and then he's just like, the system works. Oh no, he's like, you must have touched something while I was gone.
Yeah,
he like knew. He like knew it.
If anyone was gonna do it, it was gonna be her.
Yeah, Jenner's a weird character.
Yeah,
like,
he definitely
does
is.
he just have like these little side moments throughout the series? Like, is he ever like an episode themed around him or anything?
He takes a bigger part in some episodes, but I don't think we've had one that's themed around him entirely.
Okay. Bigger than his role in this episode?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I mean, he's gone for most of it, so.
But there are future episodes where he's a bigger character than this. Oh, okay. I thought he was just going to be a consistent like side character with weirdness and jokes.
I mean, he is consistently weird. I'll give you that.
Okay. And then the next day, the mom and with the kid actually show up to Gregory's classroom, I think like 5 minutes early.
Yes.
So none of the kids are there yet.
And she's like thanking him for like talking to her about it or whatever. And he's like, just doing my job. And she's like, well, you're doing it well, like in a kind of like flirty way.
Yeah, okay. I thought I saw that.
Oh yeah. And he's just like, okay.
But Gregory's reaction to this is not the same that he has like when the Ava the principal hits on him. I felt like it was a bit of like okay, yeah, because this mom is like, this is like a younger mom that's like she's pretty attractive. So he did not have I want to say he almost had a positive reaction to it,
Yeah, I'd say
despite
so.
having feelings for Janine, like, the previous day.
I wouldn't say he has. I think he has the whisper of the potential of feelings for Janine.
Yeah,
Like it's so nothing right now.
Barely feelings is feelings, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, this setup. I don't know. Is the mom? I assume the mom has to be at least one more episode of this character. Nope. No, that's
No.
it. Wait,
That's
I was
it.
looking forward to this love triangle.
No. There is another triangle that happens later. I promise.
But they just this mom is just never comes. Okay.
Yeah, this mom never
right.
comes up again. No.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well.
No, but believe me, the triangle that happens later is way better.
Okay.
I promise you.
I assume there's going to be a variety. It has kind of the almost new girl vibes of kind of romance love triangles that might come up. That's kind of how I felt about it.
Okay, fair enough.
And then after the mom leaves, Ava's going to pop back in and hit on Gregory some more.
Yeah.
And then Gregory gives his what the heck facial expression to the camera, and then that's the end of the episode.
Yeah, I think at one point in this episode, she says something. I don't know if it's at the end here or elsewhere, but she says something inappropriate to him, and then it cuts away to his confessional, and he's like, "You're getting this, right?
Yeah, she's
you have this on camera.
Make sure you have this on camera just in case." Yeah, yeah. But that's the end of episode 2.
Yeah. So, how are your feelings at the end of episode 2? Did it find its legs for you?
Yeah, I'm in. I feel like I like the feel goodness of this comedy. It's less it's less of a laugh out loud comedy as it is just a feel good comedy, I think.
Okay. I think it has moments of laugh out loud stuff.
There are a few one-liners that get me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at least one an episode so far. But it's mostly just an entertainment funny consistency and then a feel good moments at the end of each episode.
Yeah.
That make up for kind of the realness of the actual situation they're in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just nice to see, a show that honors the unsung heroes of our society.
Oh, yeah.
In a fun and entertaining way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like it. I'm in. And this is a nice 23 minutes.
Yeah, nice
without
and
commercial
short.
Episode
Mm-hmm.
that I can probably just watch with my wife. When we can actually keep up with it or watch all of it fairly quickly instead of watching one episode a week of an hour-long show or whatever we try to do sometimes. But yeah, I don't even think we mentioned what this is on. Did we?
Oh, it's on Hulu.
On Hulu.
It's how I watch it. It's on what?
Yeah, every episode is on Hulu because Hulu's part of the ABC Disney world. It's also on ABC for free, but I think they only have season 2.
Oh,
so you can keep up with season 2 on ABC. I think also on HBO Max they have it, but it's only season 1.
Oh, weird. Yeah, Hulu's got everything.
Yeah, if you have HBO Max, you can go watch season 1 on HBO Max and then watch it for free, season 2 on abc.com right now.
Makes sense.
Or you can just go to Hulu and, press play and it'll keep playing all the episodes because it has all the episodes on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably next day.
Yeah, I think they pop on there next day.
Yeah, Thursdays after Wednesday at 9 episode on ABC.
Yeah, I think we're 5 episodes into the second season. I don't know how many episodes it's going to have, but
I think I looked, it's it's going to go into January with the break probably for the holidays that a lot of the shows have.
Okay.
And that gets it to 13 episodes, I think. But there was something about the wiki that made it seem like there might be more. I could be wrong, though. I think I saw the number 22 episodes or something at one point. But it seemed like it was only scheduled till January, which, I don't know. Whatever it is. If you're that far into the show, you'll just keep watching, I'm sure at that point. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a show, that's going to... I feel like it's a show that only can get better. How far did you make in The Office? Have you watched all The Office?
Yeah, I've watched all The Office.
The Office basically was 2 shows though. It got to a conclusion, but then they kept it going without Michael. Mm-hmm. And then you watched all of Parks and Rec, I assume.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes, Parks and Rec is great.
I'm trying to think of any of these shows burn out for me. I think they're usually pretty consistent all the way through. Yeah. At least the ones I've watched. Even Modern Family. I don't watch Modern Family episode to episode, but it's a show that I can throw on. If it's on TV, I'll watch it, and it's very well written. All the ridiculous scenarios that always they have separate storylines that always come together at the end, and it's crazy that they come up with so many different 30-minute
Mm-hmm.
episodes with the
Yes.
same format that actually are funny. But yeah, it is interesting, this mockumentary format. How I can't think of a bad version of it. Why can't I think of a bad version of the mockumentary format right
Maybe
now?
because whichever ones are bad didn't stay on the air long and you didn't watch them.
I
you
guess
know?
Community isn't mockumentary, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it feels like it's a show that might be mockumentary, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am in.
Cool. I did it again. Yeah.
I'll rewatch the first 2 episodes with my wife, but
Mm,
they're good enough. Good enough to watch again.
nice.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts on this show? Anything you want to hint at for that we didn't get to in the first 2 episodes that could also intrigue people to watch?
Well, there's that love triangle I referenced happens, which is pretty interesting. The last episode of the first season takes place at the Philadelphia Zoo. So,
Okay.
if you went to a lot of field trips to the Philadelphia Zoo as a child,
Oh, that's true.
that will also
probably
be
recognize it, yeah.
nostalgic.
Not a big zoo guy anymore, Sarah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But it is a staple of the area, so it is familiar
true.
in this show about
Yeah, they
Philly.
do a lot of.
They talk about cheesesteaks a lot.
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like that, anything that is referenced Philadelphia like has to mention cheesesteaks. I feel like at some point,
yeah,
which is
of
like,
course. The
I
food.
don't know. I guess I used to eat them, but I feel like it wasn't. But it wasn't like a thing that like everybody ate cheesesteaks all the time. you
Well,
know?
yeah.
But they make it seem like they always make it seem in these Philadelphia shows like, oh, it's like what you eat like every other day or something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoy the show. Yeah, there's a weird like tug of like Philly stuff that I connect to with it. But I think it stands up on its own outside of that. And
Yeah, I think
I
it would
agree
too.
with you on the feel goodness of it. It's a good show. I recommend.
Awesome. Okay. Are you ready for whatever the heck I'm about to pick?
Yeah, what are you
All right,
picking for
yeah.
next time?
All right, I think we're picking an anime, Sarah.
Okay.
But I want to give you options.
Oh no. What if I choose
Because
poorly?
depending on what vibe. I mean, trust me, they're all something.
They're all a bad choice.
They're all a TV show, so
Okay.
yeah, depending on what vibes you want to get into.
Okay.
Because
well,
you're in
give
like
me
the
my
spooky
options.
vibe season, but I don't really understand fully what that means.
Okay. Do you have something that you think qualifies as spooky season?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Well, okay, the first option, this is the non-spooky season option, was we talked about this in a previous episode. The name of the anime is Rent a Girlfriend.
Okay.
Which is it's a rom-com about
Mhm.
I don't know how many episodes we'd have to watch to get the gist of it, but essentially it's like it starts out with a guy who's down on his luck because his first girlfriend broke up with him, and he decides to use this like phone app service that is a thing for some reason where you can like rent a girlfriend and just go on a date, but it's just like a date. There's no funny business.
Right.
And then shenanigans ensue with they end up having to see their family for whatever reason, and then he tells his family that it's his real girlfriend, and then their grandparents are like friends with each other, so they can't like it's crazy shenanigans happen.
Okay.
And they
Yeah.
basically have to continue this lie that they're actually dating each other even though they're not. Yeah. And so it's a fun rom-com. That's option number one.
All right.
Okay. And then when we were watching Andor and you were talking about how you like this, what was, how did you describe the feels of Andor? I forget the words
like,
you used.
Serious 80s sci-fi vibes and like Blade Runner and Alien, I think is what I said.
Okay. I attempted to search for animes that have this vibe.
Okay.
Because I feel like I also don't mind this vibe.
Okay.
But I need more of like some sort of dystopian
Okay. Yeah.
situation going on.
That's fair. I can
So I
get down with
found
that.
there actually is an anime called Blade Runner Black Locust, but it's like
Okay.
it's like a 3D style anime. I watched episode 1 of it. I wasn't totally into it. I didn't really get into it after episode 1. It was actually like over a week ago at this point, so I want to say like it's about a girl who might have like amnesia, but she is really good with like a katana or something.
Of
I didn't.
course.
I think we talked about it. I wasn't huge into Blade Runner, the
Hmm.
movie, that much. So the fact that it was just like a Blade Runner spin-off wasn't enough to keep me going in the
Yeah, that's
show.
fair.
But if some people like Blade Runner and want to check it out, there is an anime out there. And then there's one on Netflix called Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Have
Oh,
you seen this
okay.
on Netflix? Have you seen
I've,
this
I've
added?
I've seen that it showed up and they tried to foist it at me, and I was a little intrigued. Like I was thinking I might
Okay.
watch it.
Okay. I think it's only like one season, 13 episodes. I actually watched all of it.
Okay,
Um,
so you enjoyed it.
yeah, it was pretty good. It's very drama heavy, so I feel like whenever I watch like a pure drama show, there's always, a stretch of episodes where I'm like, okay, like they're not really progressing the plot enough for me here.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
it'll have like a good beginning, good ending kind of feel. So I get through it as long as it's not dragging for too long.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is actually based off of the Cyberpunk 2072 or what is the Didn't you play this
Yeah,
video
yeah, yeah.
game? Haven't you played this video
I
game?
played a good portion of that video game.
What's the actual video game? Look it up.
I don't remember. It's something something.
The video game is Cyberpunk 2077.
There you go.
It was a big deal when it came out. I think there was a lot of hype
For
around it. I
various
forget.
reasons.
Yeah. So it's actually based off that. I didn't play the game, so if there were any references in the show that were cool, I didn't get them.
Okay. Well, I didn't finish the game, so it's fine.
Okay. But essentially it's a world where, people are swapping out body parts for mechanical parts, essentially.
Mhm.
Isn't that like the basis of what cyberpunk is?
Pretty much.
Okay. I'm not totally familiar with all this, but the idea of this world is that like eventually if you like do too much like enhancements essentially, you start
Mhm.
having to take these like drugs almost to like get through
Yeah.
for whatever reason, and then eventually you like it's kind of like ODing, I guess, on like you have too much cyber in you
Mhm.
and you like go crazy and you like go out of control. So everybody's like they're trying to like get ahead by being more powerful by getting cyber enhancements, but at the same time if you like go too far, then you like essentially are going to go crazy. Or they have a name for it, but I forget because I forgot all the terminology they use. But yeah, that's the vibe of that show.
Okay. Yeah, I think the video game is actually based on an RPG that like a pen and paper tabletop RPG from a while ago.
Okay.
And so like I think that like cyber madness was a component in that as well. Or I just made all this up. I can't
Okay.
remember.
Okay. But the one I'm watching right now,
Oh, there's a fourth
That I've-
option.
oh,
So many
yeah.
options.
the one I'm watching right now that I found that I'm currently enjoying is called Psychopass.
Uh-huh.
And this is like a dystopian future. I want to say it's in like maybe the 2200s. It's like
Okay.
it's further in the
Mhm.
future. So it's a dystopian future, and I would say it's definitely dark at times. It's almost like thriller and gets
Okay.
like maybe dabbles in horror a little bit too, but
Little spooky season
Um,
stuff.
yeah, but it's kind of like it's like creepy, kind of spooky, like not.
Okay.
I don't know. I can get through it because it's animated. Like if this was a live action, it would be like way too gross for me.
Okay.
But this dystopian future is like it's kind of like Minority Report in a way. Have you seen that movie?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
You like Minority Report?
Yeah, I thought the world was interesting. Did not like the part where they got new eyes. That was gross.
Oh, that
But
was
anyway.
gross. Yeah. Yeah. So it's far enough in the future, and I don't know if it applies to the whole world or it's just like the city that they're in. But basically, like there's like these robots that are just like, or these like scanners, almost like security cameras throughout the city that are like constantly scanning people, and they're able to scan your psychopaths, which is like they also use the term like crime coefficient. So they basically
Mhm.
like they have the ability to just like scan you and just tell if you're like a danger to society or not.
Ah, okay. That clearly won't get misused at
Yeah.
all.
So the story follows this. There's like a girl that's the main character, but then there's a guy who also is a main character later. But basically there's like they're essentially like cops or like detectives. But the way that crime works now is like they'll get an alert that there's like somebody with a high crime coefficient in like an area, and then they have to go
Mhm.
investigate it. And then they have these like guns that the gun basically will scan the target and only release the trigger if they like have a high enough crime coefficient.
Oh.
And if their crime coefficient is high enough, the gun will go to kill mode.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Even though they're not doing any crime.
Sometimes they could not be doing crime currently. But the idea is like, I feel like more often than not, they have done a crime if they're in kill mode, but it could just be like, oh, I've thought about killing somebody. Or like maybe you have a plan to kill somebody, and like that might be enough that you just get murdered by these guns and like the cops aren't really trained to like question the guns. But there's like these, there's different weirdness to this world in play that we can get into if we choose it. But that's the basis of that's the interesting dystopian aspect that I thought was interesting.
Interesting.
So yeah. What are you feeling? So by the time we would release that episode, that would be like 2 weeks from now potentially. That would be past Halloween. When's the end of spooky season?
I mean, spooky season lives in your heart. It's whenever and wherever you need it to be. I don't know. All right.
Well, you tell me. What kind of vibes are you feeling? What you want to watch these days?
I'm not feeling the Blade Runner situation right now.
Yeah, I don't really want to watch that either.
Okay,
I don't think that's actually
off the
an
table.
option because I wouldn't actually recommend that, but I was just saying if you're a Blade Runner person, maybe it would be interesting.
I feel like right now the last two are sounding pretty appealing.
Okay.
And we can circle back to the first one in the future, I think. So I don't know. If the last two, are you leaning towards either more strongly?
What's weird about Psychopaths is I guess I'm far enough into it that it's probably fine. I didn't finish the first season, but
we're real loose with the rules around here. It's
okay. Let's do Psychopaths.
Okay.
I think Cyberpunk. You might like Cyberpunk. I don't know if there's a lot to talk about.
Okay.
It's not. It's. I think it's less interesting to talk about.
Okay, fair enough.
Whereas like we can get into like the ethics of the psychopath system and like the potential flaws in the psychopath system. But it is dark though.
Okay. I can do dark. I can do real dark.
There may not be somebody being raped in the first episode. This is like the kind of dark we're talking.
Fair,
okay.
Yeah.
Is that too much?
No,
it's not being like it's not getting overly there's blood.
Yeah, not super graphic.
There's blood for the violence, but there's not like they're not showing like explicit.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
Totally explicit sexual content, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does one watch Psychopath?
We will watch it on I think we're just gonna watch it on Crunchyroll. I'll hook you up with how we can watch that on Crunchyroll.
Sounds good.
That's where I like search for animes. I didn't look into it if it's watchable anywhere else. So
how many episodes are we watching?
I want to say 2. I'll let you know if it's anything different. I think that gets us through. The show is a lot of like, since we're following detectives, it'll be like, okay, that we'll get a case that might take an episode or 2 or 3 to like kind of wrap up that case, but then it's kind of building towards like, oh, all these cases are actually connected kind of thing. So it's building towards like a bigger finale or something. I didn't actually finish season 1, but so I don't know for sure, but that's what it feels like. Cool. So I think the first 2 episodes kind of wrapped up the first kind of case or something. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, this will be different.
Sounds good. I'll try to be as unbiased towards this anime as possible.
I think it's not going to have a lot of the stuff you don't like because it's like it's a serious. There's nothing funny about the show. I don't think so. I mean, I don't find myself laughing when I watch it. It's just serious.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty. Where can people contact us?
People can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com or tweet at us at keepwatchingpod or Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod or leave a YouTube comment on YouTube at keepwatchingpod. And they can also leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, for which we will be grateful. If it is a nice rating and review, I guess.
I mean, it'll be interesting either way.
That's true.
Be something to talk about.
Feedback.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.